It is undeniable that we live in turbulent times, a whirlwind where geopolitics and trade intertwine in a dangerous dance. Mexico, now caught in the crosshairs of Donald Trump's tariff threats, is scrambling to preserve its fragile balance between the economic titan to the north and the dragon rising in the east, China. In this scenario, the stakes are nothing short of colossal, and Mexico's responses reveal more than just the pressures of diplomacy. They showcase the challenges of surviving between two imperial visions of power. Mexico's new administration, led by Claudia Sheinbaum, has shown dexterity in its diplomatic responses, at least superficially. Sheinbaum's friendly phone call with the ever-unpredictable Trump, as she reassures the nation, signals an attempt to soothe an incendiary political landscape. The tone of camaraderie may play well on a public stage, but behind the scenes, the story is different. The tariff threats targeting Mexican exports, allegedly to stem illegal immigration, carry echoes of economic coercion, weaponizing trade to achieve political aims. Yet, this is not merely a question of border walls or immigration disputes. It is a symptom of a larger malaise. Mexico's dependency on its northern neighbor, built over decades of NAFTA and now USMCA, has left it vulnerable to the whims of U.S. politics. As Economy Minister Marcelo Ebrard astutely noted, these tariffs would not just wound Mexico, but boomerang back to the U.S. economy. The automotive sector, vital for both nations, risks collapsing into chaos. Jobs, revenue, and bilateral trust all hang by a thread. Amid these tumultuous winds, enter China. For years, the Asian giant has strategically expanded its economic influence in Mexico, from electronics manufacturing to the burgeoning electric vehicle industry. However, this relationship, while promising, is fraught with geopolitical sensitivities. The recent hesitation surrounding BYD's plans to establish an EV plant in Mexico highlights this precarious dynamic. Is Mexico truly free to embrace Chinese investments, or must it always tiptoe to avoid angering Washington? Trump's rhetoric has amplified these fears. The former, and possibly future, president's fixation on China, viewed as both a rival and a scapegoat, transforms Mexico into a battleground. The U.S. fears that Chinese goods, rebranded with Made in Mexico labels, could flood its market, bypassing tariffs and regulatory scrutiny. Mexico, therefore, faces a dilemma: how to attract Chinese capital without becoming a pawn in Washington's larger game against Beijing. Mexico's proposed solutions, a blend of tax incentives for foreign companies and diplomatic overtures, are pragmatic but insufficient. History reminds us that Mexico has always walked a tightrope in its foreign policy, from the Monroe Doctrine to modern trade agreements. The current administration may be hoping to replicate past successes by leveraging its geographic and economic position. Yet the risks have rarely been this pronounced. The U.S. looms with its demands, and China beckons with its promises. Meanwhile, Mexico risks becoming the proverbial meat in the sandwich of global superpower rivalries. Its sovereignty, its economy, and its future are all at stake. There is an undeniable irony to this situation. Mexico's plight reflects a deeper failure to diversify its economy and lessen its reliance on a single trading partner. For decades, politicians spoke of reform and economic autonomy, yet the reality tells another story. Dependency breeds vulnerability, and Mexico is now paying the price. One cannot help but reflect on the precariousness of nations caught between giants. Mexico, a land rich in culture, history, and potential, now finds itself navigating treacherous waters. Its leaders must not only tread carefully but also think boldly, building alliances, investing in innovation, and securing its position in an increasingly multipolar world. Because if history teaches us anything, it is this: the dance between empires always comes at a cost. As we watch events unfold, we must remember, what is at stake here is not merely trade policies or diplomatic gestures, but the very sovereignty of a nation striving to assert itself in the shadow of giants. For in the end, what matters most is not just surviving the dance, but learning how to lead it.
Things I do if I were elected, but one thing I do definitely is stop other countries from ripping off the United States. They are ripping us like we've never been ripped before. If you look at Japan, if you look at China, where we lose $100 billion a year with China, and they do nothing to help us with potentially our biggest problem of all, and that's going to be North Korea. So I would start right at that point.